It's Monday. I did not film yesterday. I really wasn't feeling well at all yesterday, and I'm still not feeling overly well today either. So I decided to just have a lazy day yesterday, which involved having no makeup on and no hair even brushed. So I did not film yesterday at all. I just gave myself a day off, and I read. I have 2 books to update on, so I do at least still have something to say. But I think I jinxed myself. In fact, I know I jinxed myself because in my previous videos, I've been mentioning how great my December has been, how lucky I've been to have so many wonderful books that I've thoroughly enjoyed and just had an amazing month so far. And that I was pretty certain that I was overdue for a book that I didn't at least like. And well, that happened. It happened. And I do feel it's almost reassuring that it did happen, because the longer I went with having all of these fantastic books I just utterly adored, the more I got the fear that something's going to come up and just, I'm not going to love it. And while that's totally fine, I don't know. I think if I have too many excellent reads in a row, I get really worried. And I know that a huge part of having amazing reads in a row is knowing what I enjoy and reading what I enjoy. But I'm not going to try and logic myself. No. So I started with my Die Hard prompt yesterday, which was a book with a heist. So I picked up The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharpe, and I have been thoroughly looking forward to reading this book, and I DNF'd it. So there's that. I DNF'd this book at page 50, which is a 7th of the way through the book. My goal was to get to page 100, and if I really still wasn't liking it, give up. But I made it to page 50, had a rant. I'd had a few rants during this book, and I just decided nope, it just wasn't for me. And I think a huge part of that is that I picked this book up in the adult section of Waterstones, and I read the blurb and thought, this sounds amazing. So this book is all about a bank heist, and one of the hostages in that heist has a secret past, and that secret past makes her feel like she is the person that can get everybody out unharmed. And I was like, yeah, that sounds amazing. It also very much felt in the vein of Die Hard, which was the whole inspiration behind this reading prompt. So this book felt perfect. Now, here's where it was my fault. At no point did I notice that this was mis-shelved in the bookshop. It's not an adult book. It's a young adult book, and I do read a lot of young adult books. But the young adult books that I tend to read and love are often fantasy. So I think that was my, had I seen it, red flag number 1, that it's not a genre that I usually enjoy of a young adult age range. And I also feel like this read really young. I actually feel like this is more of a middle grade book, although it did mention some very distressing subjects that maybe would bump it up to the lower end of young adult. But I think that's my mark against it. Number 1 was I was expecting an adult book, and I realised very early on, nope, it was not. And that's fine, but I thought, I do enjoy young adult books, so let's go, let's read it. Instantly, I did not like any of the characters at all. They felt really one-dimensional, and I know I only gave the book 50 pages. They might change. I might grow to love them, but they just felt like very surface level characters. But I can't obviously give a huge review on them. I didn't read the whole book. The main thing that put me off this was 2 things. 2 things were the reason that I had rants and had to DNF the book. Thing number one is I don't want a character to tell me they're the smartest person in the room. Don't tell me, show me that you're the smartest person in the room. Because in this book, Nora was like, I'm going to save everybody. I'm going to do all of this. And I'm like, why? Why is that? Why is that in your set of skills? Tell me how that's in your set of skills. And I know there were flashbacks that perhaps would have led me to see that. But all of the flashbacks that I was getting were sort of like, her mother was a con artist. She left her mum when she was 12. Okay, excellent. How is that getting you out of a bank heist? I didn't buy it. I think that's the main thing. I did not buy this situation, these characters. And the second thing, extremely niche, but I used to work in a bank and I was reading this going, why is only one person opening that bank? You know, no. And I know all banks are different, but when I used to work in a bank, we couldn't, if we were opening up for the day, we couldn't enter alone. Even if we didn't unlock the branch, we had to enter in like 2 by 2. And I just thought, no way is one cashier, a cashier, opening the bank, no security guard, no manager, no second cashier, just, you know, I don't even remember her name, Janet, just sitting there by herself, all this money, no security, no secure door, none of that is set in modern days. I got enraged. I didn't buy it. It annoyed me, so I put it down. I feel extremely strongly that somebody is going to love this. I have a friend who I know loves this and is probably going to be really angry at me when we have our group chat at the end of the month and I say I DNF'd this. So, Sai, I'm so sorry. I no, but I think my friend enjoyed it enough for the two of us, so that's okay. I am, however, I'm going to donate this to the charity shop and I'm sure that there is somebody out there who's going to love it. That person just is not me. But I kind of love the hair on this. I have tried to have this hair on many occasions and it does not work for me. But that's my main thing. My main positive is I love the hair on the front cover. It wasn't for me at all. And I feel like I can't count this as a tick. So I failed my monthly plan of reading, but I tried. And then I felt a little crestfallen and was like, no, I need to just read something different and just different. I did look to see if I had anything else that was heisty and I don't. So we're sticking with a big DNF for Die Hard prompt. But I picked up a non-fiction because I haven't read non-fiction in a while. And I went with The Audacity by Katherine Ryan, who is one of my favourite comedians, of which it's a very long list, but I really enjoy Katherine Ryan. And I feel like that is where I went wrong. Not in liking her. No, I still like her. But I am a fan of Katherine Ryan, so I have seen her stand up. I've seen her post on social media. I've seen her on panel shows, which means that I've heard maybe what felt like about 50% of these stories before. So I was so excited to get more new stories. I thought it was going to be really funny, and it was funny, and it was entertaining. It was just disappointing to have already familiarized myself with a lot of this. And I don't think that I've not researched her as a comedian or anything like that. These are just stories that have been told over and over on shows that I've watched, because I watch a lot of comedy shows, and to my detriment, it just meant that I've heard a lot of these stories before. I knew the punchlines, I knew where everything was going, and the new stories that came in were really enjoyable and they were quite fun. It was a bit silly at points, which was what I wanted. I wanted a light relief. But for me, it was a 300 odd page memoir. 150 pages or so felt like I'd already read them, and that was a little bit disappointing. So I liked it, but it didn't give me as many new chuckles as I thought I was going to get. So I think if I hadn't seen her on so many shows telling these exact same stories or versions of these stories, that I would have, you know, had laugh out loud moments. But instead I just had sort of like, ha, which wasn't as much of a chuckle as I was hoping. So I think that I did like this. It was funny, and I did have some smiles, but I didn't have as much new material as I was expecting. I'd heard a lot of it before, and that was pretty disappointing for me, especially because I pre-ordered this book. I paid the full hardback price for this, and that's disappointing on me. Let's not talk about how I pre-ordered it and I didn't read it at the time. And perhaps some of the stories in this book I heard on panel shows after this book came out, but that could be my fault. At least I ticked another book off of my 2022 goals, which I'm not gonna meet. I'm not gonna meet those goals, and that's fine. I have decided I'm gonna roll maybe 3 or 4 books from this year's goals over to next year's. It'll all be fine. So at least there's a positive there. But the main positive, I think, is that I'm reassured by having a couple of books I didn't overly enjoy, and now I can be like, oh, okay, I'm not waiting. I'm not, you know, shaking waiting for my disappointing read. I've had them. There may be more, but I'm very hopeful that the rest of my books are going to be more enjoyable, and that this is my last DNF of 2022. I very much hope, and I hope I've not jinxed myself. Let's hope that the next book is more of a success. That would be great. I'd also like to feel better then as well. Thank you for watching. Bye!